salaries for Federal Housing Authority, you won't believe. But right now, we have passed that stage of people helping us to pay salary. We've now gone to that stage of remitting money into the consolidated revenue account. As at the middle of this year, we have remitted about 3.1 to 3.2 billion into the consolidated revenue to TSA. Now, as I speak to you, like I said, we met carcass on ground. We've been able to deliver some decent and affordable houses at Jordan in Ibadan, close to about 120 houses. We're still building more. Lugbe, I tell you, then businessmen used to pay salaries for Federal Housing Authority, you won't believe. But right now, we have passed that stage of people helping us to pay salary. We've now gone to that stage of remitting money into the consolidated revenue account. As at the middle of this year, we have remitted about 3.1 to 3.2 billion into the consolidated revenue to TSA. Now, as I speak to you, like I said, we met carcass on ground. We've been able to deliver some decent and affordable houses at Jordan in Ibadan, close to about 120 houses. We're still building more. Lugbe, we've been able to deliver another 100 housing units. Mr. President will probably soon commission Buhari close to 400 housing units for Nigerians as we speak. And this is the first time such a magnitude project has been built without 1 naira and 1 kobo or subvention from federal government in Federal Housing Authority of Nigeria. As we speak with you, 1,550 housing units has been procured for the Nigerian Army, which was built in less than a year. 1,550 housing units, soon to be commissioned by Mr. President for the Nigerian Army. That's in GB. As I speak to you, we have done 6 groundbreaking in the state. We are going to 17. Remember that we are not being funded, but these will be delivered very shortly. Commencement is about to start. Like I told you, we are now on digitalization. People are accessing home. Even though I'm an agency under the Ministry of Housing, which is being controlled by the Minister of Housing, PhD Dr. Rade, I can tell you vividly that Karasana is a new town, a new city of close to 3,000 housing units. The first phase will soon be commissioned by Mr. President anytime from now. That's about 2,000. If you've been to Karasana, Karasana is now a new city completely. You can move in from Gwarinpa straight. The Minister of FCT, His Excellency Nelson Wike, is working extremely for road constructions over there. So what are we trying to do? The congestion of houses in the main town, you must open a new town. Just like the way Lugbe, Gwarinpa, Festag, all these areas were open in those days. In Kano, close to about 500 to 600 housing units will soon be commissioned by the Ministry of Housing. As I speak to you, in Lagos, close to about 500 as well will soon be commissioned. Groundbreaking, like I told you, have commenced in various states of the Federation. Odupani will soon commission, that's in Calabar by Federal Housing Authority. Not to talk of the private, the PPP, joint venture. This is the first time government is also coming in to collaborate with private investors, in which you people call real estate, because government is now providing infrastructure. What these people have been complaining all about is they have their money, but the government must provide the enabled field for them to invest. And if you go to Karasana now with what His Excellency Governor Wike has, His Excellency the Minister of FCT Nelson Wike has done, opening a new town. So private investors, like I said, and I stand to be corrected, presently, if you have to put an aggregation, there's an Emery fund of close to, I think 200 billion was released to Murphy, in which privates can also access. Because we have to be careful at this junction, not to just be looking at the government alone in the housing delivery. There are also Federal Mortgage Bank, who are also giving loans, mortgages to people. So as we speak now, I'm telling you, and I stand to be corrected here, over 10 to 12,000 houses, or close to 15, is ready for delivery. Some has been delivered for Nigerians in this current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So the question will be, you have told us about what is on the lay of the land, but between when you came in and now, what has really changed to make your organization more effective? Like you said, it was almost a ghost being exhumed. Now it shows some vitality with the numbers you've shared with us. So what is in the how?
Oh, thank you very much. The first is to thank Mr. President, because you must get the right peg in the right hole. You must employ the right set of people to do the job for you. What has really changed is a fact that leadership, and also that is what is changing now in the country. It's about leadership. Nigeria is not a difficult area to change. A lot of things have gone bad. In my agency before, people don't come to work. Now they have clock out to come. Now leadership again, you have to be responsive. With the money, like I told you, that the agency is now making, remitting to the government, I failed to travel out of Nigeria. I've not traveled out of this country in the past 9 months. Because once the staff sees I'm using their money to travel first class, second class tickets outside Nigeria. Within Nigeria, I drive myself on my Hilux Jeep. And I told my executive director, you have to show leadership by example. So training has increased in Federal Housing Authority, both local and foreign training. I, Oyetunde Ojo MDC, has not gone for any training, but I make sure all my GMs, all my DGMs are having access. You cannot be in the beauty industry in this 21st century and not people. So what have we done? We've shown leadership. We've blocked loopholes by bringing in digitalization. Court processes have reduced against FHA because of this digitalization. In 21st century, we are in possession of close to about 5 trillion naira worth of property because we collect ground rents. And at the end of the day, before there was no digitalization. So we have blocked all loopholes. And that's why we can now tell Nigeria. Remember before 2003, government subvention stopped. Over 500 billion has been put into Federal Housing Authority of Nigeria. What do I ask people? If it's your father's business and this thing is being willed to you with 500 billion naira from 1977 to 2003, are you going to watch it to be moribund? No. But because it's government, we all decide to look at things being moribund. And the president, we know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, all of us got our marching orders to make sure nothing goes moribund. Staff welfare, as I speak to you today, except staffs who decide to use their personal vehicles, home, back and front. In Federal Housing Authority in Abuja, no staff pay for transportation. It's zero. Because you must boost the morale of the staff. Before I resumed, there was no light. You won't believe it. I was there 3 weeks, total darkness. And you want people to work. Offices were rambled and shackled. Health insurance, we are in the beauty industry. People have accidental health injuries over a long period of time. But as we speak now in Federal Housing Authority, immediately a serious health challenge is being reported to me. Under 24 hours, within my financial threshold for staff, I pay you nothing less than 5 million. Because people have worked in this authority for long, and we know the hazard of working out there. So they see that they have a responsive leader. And that is what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has told us to go and do.
All right, let's look at this other aspect. You commendable efforts on your side. Nigerians would like to understand also, we're entering the election season, and housing is going to be one major campaign tool. What have you put in place to ensure that your projects, the allocation and commissioning don't become an issue of political patronage, so that it's open to every Nigerian and politics outside it?
Thank you very much. It cannot be. Because let me tell you, and I will use this medium to also advise Nigerians. Once we are doing groundbreaking and we post all these things on site, housing is not something you come and pick when the food is ready. You buy at the early stage. These are projects that take 1 or 2 years. So if people have bought into it, allocations have been done already to people. So when we are commissioning, in most cases, and to be honest, we verified that these are Nigerians who are in need. Yes, you can have 1 or 2 people finding their ways. But we make sure it's affordable. The Buhari, I'm telling you, 3-bedroom is about 15 million. When I came in, till date with increment, I still maintain the old price. It's just 2 minutes from law school. You need to go there. Thank God some of your reporters have been coming. The Nigerian Army scheme of 1,550 housing units. We've also talked to the Nigerian Army, which very shortly I'll be meeting with the Chief of Army Staff, so that soldiers, the junior ones, who are the frontline battle fighters, should be put more into consideration, and which I know the President Chief of Army Staff, I know the President Chief of Defense Staff, they care a lot about their ratings and their soldiers. So we make sure at the end of the day that politicians don't. At the end of the day, we are not going to start using that as a campaign. The new ones we're about to do now, we are saying people should apply early. Housing is not something that you wait until the food is ready. All over the world, people put interest into housing. So it is not when the houses are fully built, that's when you think you get that. At the end of the day, maybe probably just less than 10% is available. So we're always telling Nigerians to make inquiries, go to our zone office. I will not sit down and politicize anything. Especially, I know the importance of shelter. I have slept outside in many occasions. So I know the key value of the need for Nigerians having a decent shelter.
Let me, if you permit, I would like to take you outside FHE and housing. Politics, we're in the political season now, and just a few days back, campaign started. Recently, last week, although he wasn't there personally, but his message to political actors at the signing of peace accord was, let us not send out the wrong signals. It shouldn't be divisive. It shouldn't be ethnicized. What should Nigerians look forward to as we enter the political seasons, campaigns starting?
Well, thank you very much. Like I keep saying, and I will say here today, politicians, we are just less than 1% of the Nigerian population. We are only a vehicle, political parties, to propagate the message of our various political parties in seek for power. That's it. Remember, democracy is straightforward. Government of the people, by the people, and of the people. 99.9% are the people. What I want politicians to be saying, I said something in this last program, and I'll repeat myself today. For me, I'm here to say what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu G7 have done in 3 years. I want to talk about issues. I don't want to talk about person. I don't want to know if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is wearing bulletproof jeep or anything. What has been his impact to Nigerians in 3 years? That's what I'm here to tell now. And that's what I've been telling Nigerians. Now you that you also want to contest for any position should also come and tell Nigerians your manifesto. That is better than what is on ground. Let us don't ethnicize issues. Don't let us come in tribalism or religion. These are facts on ground. For our own side, we should be able to tell Nigerians what Mr. President have done in 3 years plus. On the side of our other people in various political parties, let me see your manifesto. I'm a student of politics, international relations and diplomacy. I still stand not to see their manifesto. And we are going to election in 6 months' time. If I stand here today, I can tell you what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done in the health sector. As we speak today, National Health Insurance Scheme has 37.4 million. As I speak to you today, the insurance health scheme. That means what I'm trying to tell you, from 22 million when it came in, it has risen to 37.4 million. Invariably, is to tell you how many people have been employed by this administration. The issue of japa in the medical field for the younger ones have reduced. What did President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did? Across the whole health sector, he increased their salaries and wages, doctors, nurses, and other staff. So there is reduction in the japa sector. Japa means people living for abroad. because their salaries have been increased. Medical field generally, pharmacists, and that's why you've not seen a strike in 3 years plus. We all know what NMA used to do. Well, I'm also thanking MA, thanking all medical sectors for cooperating. Yes, the government can still do better, but salaries has been increased. As I speak to you today, Nigerians pay less than 15,000 naira for kidney dialysis. May we not have what is called kidney issue? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the Ministry of Health, has reduced almost 74-75% from patients of kidney. About 6 to 7 or 8 kidney centers in Nigeria. We need to be extremely careful. Messages are not passed across. You go on to hospital now, you only need to federal hospitals and these kidney dialysis centers, you only need 12 to 15,000. The government is taking over something% of it. Frontline net workers. Before used to be 5,000 workers all over the federation. Who are frontline net workers? Frontline net workers are your first, as the name implies, first line, like first aid, all over this country. Before the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have 5,000 frontline workers. That means your ward, your local government, or your locality. I'm not even talking about the state. I'm talking about rural. As I speak to you today, 22,000 from 5,000. That means President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his administration has employed, if you do a plus or minus, we are going about 16,000. This has helped to reduce maternity rate. That's the meaning. Right now, as I speak to you, you have low maternity rate, and that has helped to increase, has reduced the rate
mortality.
of mortality rate. Yes. As I speak with you, presently as you speak, the emergency number, like the Wycliffe, please help me call 911. As we speak today, please help me call 112. The federal government ambulances will be at your doorstep. States are also replicating the same. Lagos State is 767. Ekiti also has its own. As you speak today, the federal government is also talking about the issue of local production of pharmaceuticals. I can tell you more than a lot in the health. If I move next, that's why I said I'm here to talk about issues.
Okay, hold on, gentlemen, please. Before we move to those issues, like you said, let's highlight the issues. The very recent issue right now is the issue of fake agencies. This has raised troubling questions across several quarters for an administration that claims to, be fighting corruption. How can unauthorized agencies operate under the nose of the administration? Who authorized these agencies?
Thank you very much. When did this fake agency started? If you really followed it, which I know you people are media, 2 other fake agencies have been discovered. About a couple of days ago, 2-3 PAMSEC were suspended. This didn't start during the time of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm telling you, it started around during the time of President Goodluck Jonathan. But you don't blame, I always say it, it's just as an NDCO. Sometimes you won't see some things. But you see, when it comes to your table, what makes President Bola Ahmed Tinubu very responsive, and I've told Nigerians, he will not keep it under the carpet. Immediately discovered one under him. What did he do? Immediately he got ICPC involved. Immediately everybody that was involved. The agency was closed. The man is still under prosecution. I can't say anything until court gives its verdict. 2 others, fake agencies were now discovered. Couple of days ago. Now, the head of service, respected woman, admitted. Now she's on her way retired. And what did they do? They now decide, and all these things were able to be discovered because of the institutionalization of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the civil service of the country. Because now the way you saw the civil service before is not the way civil services are now. And that's why the retiring head of service, anytime he wants to talk, he gives praises to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You see, what matters most is not sweeping things under the carpet. That's what President Bola Ahmed. Yes, there is fake agency, but that now leads us to Is this the first of its kind? As we speak now, no. So this thing has been happening before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in. We've seen 2 others, and a lot will be reviewed. But before, they will sweep it under the carpet. So Mr. President will not say everything. But that's why the publics are there, to notify. That's why you media are there. One good thing we should thank Mr. President of is dealing with issues. He's not sweeping anything under the carpet.
All right, let's talk about some issues as well. The political season is here, and some of the, let's say, candidates has already said that it doesn't see much about this subsidy or no subsidy. In fact, it's bringing back subsidy. You just tell us a little bit about the gains of the subsidy removal and why perhaps it may be a bit opaque to some of the guys in the grassroots, expecting it to trickle down faster than it has.
Thank you very much. I've told you about the health sector. Now you've given me a window to talk about issues. People don't understand the definition of subsidy. Subsidy in Nigeria is just being pointed to oil. Overseas, subsidy costs across all board welfareism. People should start laying this subsidy to oil. That's what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. Because the subsidy was a racket. That's the whole truth. I have told you what subsidy have done in the health sector. Let me tell you the advantage again of subsidy in the educational sector. You and I know, and we have to say the truth. Before now, we know the tuition fees. Now fund has come in to help students who cannot afford to pay in full as a subsidy, not to say they don't want to go to school. And what has that done? Every parent now in Nigeria, every student doesn't have to drop out from school. The federal government have subsidized. Let's use the word subsidy very well. I'm now using it in education with Now Fund. The billions being put into the subsidy in education. Secondly, ASU. No strike in 3.5 years. The government have met with the terms, some terms and conditions, and the improvement of welfare, provision of equipment in schools like buildings, like teaching conditions. That's also subsidy. That's why in 3 years now, you've not heard of any ASU strike. Yes. I've also thanked the ASU because it's good to understand. You see, don't let us politicize anything. So on the educational sector, the government have used all these subsidy funds to make sure they key in critical things. I was in Oshogbo about 2 months ago, just sitting outside. I saw some 4 students. Thank God I have a witness who was with me, the chairman of Federal Character Commission, Honorable Ms. Omidiro. These 4 students came. I asked these young students, what level are you? They said they are in 400 level. I said, how old are you? They said they are 20. I didn't know when I told them that you are liars. That Honorable Mr. Omidiro now said, how can they be liars? I said 20 years old, 400 level. I thought it was during my own time I was using 26 years, 8 years to study first degree. Only for me to realize truly there is no strike. So that means they entered at 17 plus. Now they are graduating. In short, they even wrote their final exams. I just decided, God Almighty. So this young student will end their PhD in another 8 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. None of you here, you interviewers here, did not face the battle of strike. So, for the fact that students can go to school now, do 4 years at 4 years. As I speak to you, you will be seeing decline in students entering private schools. That's also a disadvantage. Because the major reason why students go to private school is this issue of time. Spending 8 years for 4-year course. Now President Tinubu in educational sector has resorted to that. Now you want to go into what you call, I always say, where my Igbo brothers operate, port authority. Like my friend said one thing, my little brother friend, Whiskey, for Oju Elegba, they know my story, for Murdoch Studio. Please, I will tell you one thing. 2016, 2017, 2018, I, Oyetunde Ojo, I've said it over time. I had my business. Because politics is not a full professional work in Nigeria. What do I do then? A company called Hooligan Global Services. I'm into containers. I have trucks. That 2016-17 from Kobakwe in Abeokuta to Shagam, the viewers are watching me. Straight to Capital, my two select coconuts. They know me very well. I used to be under the trailer because I'm an Ekiti man. You don't beg. Now we'll be sleeping under the trailer for 3 days, 4, 5 days to pick containers off the port. Is what we all knew as at that time. As you speak today, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president, look at the rating of port index of clearance of goods from Apapa Port, Tinkan. Now we've been rated number 12 by Port Index Authority. Now my brothers who does those business don't complain again for buying and selling. That
okay, let me take you back to something.
Has affected. No, as we speak today, over 600 million to 1 billion pounds has been invested by the British government and in collaboration with Nigerian government to Nigerian Port Authority. Do you know the meaning of Tokunbo? For those of us that have been plying road before for 20-30 years, Ilakoji, Aflawa and others, people who go by road to Ghana knows all these places in Togo. The meaning for Tokunbo is a fact that some of the Apapa port cannot belt some containers because our queues are bad. Now, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the heavy dredging is going on, these queues are being reported. There will be nothing called Tokunbo again because there will be no container ship in this world that Tinka and Apapa will not budge. That's the cause for Tokunbo. Togo now decided to take that advantage for import duty free. That's the whole truth. Me, I've been in Tokunbo business like 20 years ago, driving Tokunbo cars. So all these streets are, and that's why when Mr. President came in, these were issues. Some of us, I knelt down immediately, won the primary. I said, Daddy, you have nothing, you are not looking for anything in life. Things have to change. Move to correctional center. Now, as I speak with you, I want to talk issues so that how it affects a common man is the most important thing. Politicians, we are only less than 1%. The voters are the remaining 99%. How does this thing affect them? Go into our prison.
Just before you go into, so that we can just take it sector by sector. Yes.
Yeah, earlier you talked about what the government has done in the aspect of healthcare and all that. But would you say it is efficiency when the tax that statutorily should be the responsibility of the local government, like primary health care, that the federal government has invested so much in primary health care? Now, what exactly are you putting in place to ensure that the local government administration take up this responsibility? That it's not just the federal government driving it. The local government will do what it ought to do according to the law.
Yeah, that's very good. There's a Supreme Court judgment that is now mandating the states that funds should go directly to the local government. And this is the first of its kind done under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But let me tell you, as a father, you should know what things goes bad. Yes, you've given your wife money to cook. You've tell your children, go and buy food in the market. Probably you send a child, you've given your wife. And if there are failures in that system, remember that we run a constitution, the federal, the state, and the local governments. We cannot wait. Nigerians are too much in a hurry. I always tell something, it's just a proverb in Yoruba. Who kills a snake doesn't matter. What matters is the snake should die. So, if the local government, I don't want to go into state issue because what the states are receiving is subsidy. Many state governors are saying it out. A lot of them are very patriotic. I will use Ekiti State for an example. This drives me to issue of subsidy. Ekiti State find it extremely difficult to pay salary. You can ask Governor Biodun Oyebanji if he's watching us today before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into being. Before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to being, Governor Biodun Oyebanji could not actually pay pensioners. But as we speak today, the governor is not just only paying salaries as at when due, he's not paying backlogs of pensioners at when due, but as I speak to you today, projects are being done as at Wedu in Ekiti State. The airport road Governor Biodo Ebaji did in 2005, that such road would have taken him about 4, 5, 6 years. He did it in less than 1.5 years. Subsidy removal money has been given to the state. For the first time, Nigeria is now connected. So we will have to appeal to the governors, which the governors are in the southeast. The governors are responding, reciprocating back to the federal government. So the issue of local government, yes, we know there's a Supreme Court judgment. Yes, we know there's an accountant general of the federation in terms of financing and disbursement. But the president first, which is the main leader now, is being responsive by making sure FAC. We all saw the FAC of this month. If that what we saw is true, that means Ekiti State took 20 billion. These were things that were only being taken by Bayelsa, Rivers, Delta. There is no need for Ekiti State to go to bond. So local governments, now, it is obvious. People should also question states. I've told you what my own governor is doing with his own money. State should also be questioned. If my governor is watching me as well, he's also listening that, and I know in the health sector, my governor has pumped in a lot. He also has state recruitment of these frontline workers. I don't have data of the state. I will go further. State varies. Like I told you, the 112 of federal government and Lagos in terms of emergency ambulance, Ekiti State too will have its own. And they are expanding a lot of primary health care center. So I don't want to go into what I don't know what goes on in Akwa Ibom now, for example. I don't know what goes on in Kogi State. But I can see Kogi fighting insecurity. That means it's also. So I want to focus myself mainly on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. His effect on Nigeria, his policies to citizens who are the most people that we are talking about issues.
Yeah, you said how it affects the ordinary man, and I've heard the president talk about his primary concern is the most vulnerable of the population. But people who are raising issues about how he removed subsidy from fuel, which is the reason they say the power to buy things for Nigerians actually dropped because subsidy was removed the way he removed it all of a sudden. How do you think he did it properly? Because to the opposition, he did it wrongly, and that is why it's affecting the ordinary man. The problem the ordinary man faces today is having the power to purchase, how to live the least comfortably. How do you think he ought to have done it? If what they are saying, if you do not agree with them, did he do it right?
He did it very, very right. Very, very right. You see, I would have not agreed with it if I'm not seeing those funds being subsidized in other areas. We need to be careful. That's why I said the definition of subsidy. We are only putting it on oil. We are not putting it on welfareism. He removed the subsidy. He created alternative. The alternative will start coming, which is the CNG gas. As I speak to you now, yes, people are saying they don't have access. They don't. I was happy a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I was traveling in Lokoja, Felele, NNPC filling station precisely. There's a CNG gas over there now. Gradually, with time, government has done a deregulation of a lot of sectors. By the time in Abuja now, you'll be seeing 1 or 2 queues or 3 queues access. I am telling you, in another 4 years, people are already building CNG stations. People have moved away from petroleum. They've got alternative electricity in Kano now. People use motorbikes, keke marua, charging it with power. Why is it oil, petrol? Countries that doesn't have petrol, don't they survive on crude oil? He has provided an alternative. From the subsidy money, he is using it to take care of other welfareism angle, which I've said on the health sector, I've said on the educational sector. I'm about to tell you also on the issue of interior. Before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, I'm telling you the effect of subsidy money. Because we should not just be saying petrol, buying food. Look at the roads. Yes, he's doing borrowing. People are not complaining about roads again. Because I know I've attended a lot of sessions with him, and I was mentioning roads from town to town. And thank God for the Minister of Works as well. Showing Nigerians in this country, it used to be road issue, come at airport, the road is bad. Right now, until when I got to Abuja, that I realized that they don't change shocks. If you are in Lagos or you are in my village, you change shocks every day because of bad road. Thank God Governor Sanwo-Olu is also improving a lot of things. Look at the roads in Abuja. So the same road in Abuja, is it not good for me traveling from Ibadan to Warri? So that I apply to Oluku Junction. I go to Ogara. From Ogara, I move to Sapele now to Warri to Ugeli to Bayelsa Junction. Go and check all the federal roads over there. Are you coming from Abuja? From Abuja, you are going to Lafia to Makurdi to Ogbolafo, you move, I'm going through the east. Go and check all the roads. So what is he using subsidy money for? Is he chopping it? Is it not to do infrastructure that will affect? How many percentage of these people travel by air? The majority of the Nigerians don't travel. That's why a lot of insecurity have reduced. Bad road is a major cause for kidnapping. For those of us who go by road, once there is a good road, I can tell you effectively with a good road, let any human being start in my front, whether I will not kill him and says he wants to kidnap me.
All right.
But when you are in portals, definitely you'll be overpowered.
We can't turn our eyes away from these issues, but there are allegations that persist about an unelected cabal influencing access, appointments, and major decisions at the presidency. Who exactly controls the power in Aso Rock, and what evidence can the administration point to that President Tinubu is truly in charge?
Thank you very much. I thought before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he won the election, I was on a particular TV station, I think TVC, and I warned everybody about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am telling you, I think the people that knows him very well, even as I'm talking to you, I think some Nigerians know my relationship with him. You cannot operate a cabal with Tinubu. Tinubu controls Aso Rock and controls Nigeria. Let me tell you, this is a man that has traversed all over this country. This is a man that has different information gathering. If President Bola Ahmed Tinubu sent you on one errand, he's sending 10 other people on the same errand. I will say you something. And that's why people will say probably I'm one of the closest because of my relation. But if I don't do my work, Mr. President will relieve me. And I keep telling my people, I will give you. You said there is a cabal. Have you forgotten some ministers that had to go? I don't want to mention them. Answer the question yourself.
But some people will not agree with what you're saying now. That there are not, that it doesn't have some people that has, such influence that others cannot claim.
Live in isolation. Okay. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not know all the vacancies in agencies. He will know all the vacancies in parastatals. He will know all the people that worked for him. People will have to come and say, this agency is available. We need Mr. Yes, there are issues like that. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not somebody you will tutor. That you now says, without you. I am telling you, in short, he will flog you. You better be very careful. I've been telling Nigerians about him. He reads up to about 10 newspapers every day. He watches all TV stations. You don't know who is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's why he talks less. He's not somebody a cabal can work. There is no discipline you come. Like I said, he will not be the one appointing executive director of this. But very key institution. When I was appointed, where were the cabals? He said, Oye, move into Federal Housing Authority and flush that place and put it properly. But is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu going to sit down with PAs and start appointing? People will give him names. It is obvious. But do you know the meaning of cabal? That will never operate under President Bola. But he will listen to advice before he takes decision.
Is he getting the right advice?
I am telling you, he is getting the right advice. And that's why people like us, some of us, no matter what those people perceive to be, will tell him the truth. And that's why I can sit here and I can tell you what this man has done in 3.5 years. Because by the time some of us go say, Daddy, there's a problem here. Daddy, there's a problem here. Daddy, there's a problem here. He has held out. And he listens to everybody. The visitors he receives. His telephone is talking to people. He can call the market woman in Agege. You remember that this is a grassroots man. So if you call him now and say something is happening in Kano, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows almost every local government in Kano and he has his contact. So even if you are a minister from Kano and you think you are briefing or you are a cabal, by the time he will use his phone and says, sorry, I want to copy him a bit, he will say, Abdullahi, what am I hearing? What is happening in your local government in Kano? He will call 3 people, 4 people in different local governments in this country. So by the time you bring those things, he will be watching you. And that's why when he strikes, I've told you about one, which you and I would have said is part of, at the initial stage, that was the main. You don't do cabal with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You want works to be done. Ask those who worked under him in Lagos State. So that's why I tell people, the more you see him, the more you are in crisis. You better go and work and let him be watching your result in order for...
All right, let's quickly look at the party's campaign council ahead of the 2027 elections. A lot of people are, a lot of the members of the council are also people who hold positions of authority in the current administration. Some worry that, yes, we have 5 months, 6 months, at least, but to the end of the tenure, we still have about 9 or so months. Will politics not hinder delivery in terms of some of the sectors that these people still head?
How will he hinder delivery?
Since they are parts of the campaigns.
What is campaign council? People being coordinated for an election. You need people. Oh, how many states are here? How many wards are here? How many these are here? How many voters register? You need to have a think tank plan. American does it. UK does it. Does that affect the administration? Because in Nigeria before, I know where you are going. 1 year to election, administration activity is down. 1 year after election, administration activity is down. People have said it over the time there is only 2 years. Nigeria uses in every 4-year cycle of that period. But I can tell you vividly, look at most of the people that was appointed in this council. Check. Yes, some people might be grumbling, some might not be grumbling. How many CEOs and head of agencies did you find here? I want to know. How many ministers did you find here? I'm not saying there are not 1, 2, 3 CEOs, but look at the composition and sit down. And for your information, like I said, some people must sit down to plan. But you don't need, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu doesn't need, I'm telling you, as much as he needs the campaign council, he knows who is working for him in Ekiti. He knows who is working for him in Oyo. He has telephone numbers. Because he's a man, like I told you, knows even the grassroots person in almost local government. So the campaign council, yes, people must work, come together, people have intelligence, who have knowledge, who have done it before, who made it work. You understand? But it's not every CEO or MD that is. And people know that doesn't stop you from performing your rightful function
All right,
and duty being
still on this
appointed.
campaign council, you talked about some ministers that exited. You didn't mention their names, but in the campaign council, some people have raised issues with a former minister who was relieved, and she's back on the campaign council. Now, would you say that shows zero tolerance to corrupt tendency?
Is campaign council in the Constitution of Nigeria?
But it's a party issue.
Wait. That's it. The campaign council ends this day of election. Are you telling me?
Is it a burden or an asset?
It can be an asset. Let me be honest with you. When it comes to politics, you see, in politics, I will advise you, go and meet a butcherman, an illiterate carpenter, or somebody who has 4 wives, 10 children. Patronize that person more than a professor who has 1 wife and 2 children, because there you are looking for figure. Now that person, by the time they call, you must also have forgiving spirit. I'm not saying the person should not face the law. Are you getting me? If the person has a constituency or a ward she can hold on to, are you getting what I'm saying? This person you are talking particularly was a former woman leader. You cannot rise to the level of a woman leader of a party, even though she did 1 or 2 mistakes, she had paid a price. That's another issue. And nobody is guilty until is found guilty by the court of law. Let's be careful. There has been no procurement, no announcement yet by any court of law that says this person is convicted. So when you are not being convicted, yet you are a journalist, you cannot say it could be a lie until facts are established, until the judiciary, the judges, give the pronouncement. So as she is now, what Mr. President did for her was to say, an allegation has been pushed towards you, step aside. Go and defend yourself. And that's what I was trying to tell you about Mr. President. Go and defend yourself. If it's proven otherwise, anybody can lie on anybody. Until the judiciary comes, another arm of God and says, this person is guilty. As at now, she's not guilty. She's only been alleged. And Mr. President, in the past, when people are alleged like that, they will sit down now, still be gallivanting. Or Mr. President says, step aside. So we need to educate Nigerians better that until you are found guilty, you are still innocent. Yes, that's the law, until proven guilty. So to me, I think she's still innocent because her case is gone. So because of that, she will not work again. She will not earn a living in her private life. She will not walk on the streets.
You've made your point. We have 7 more minutes before we go on a break, but you take a question.
I just need you to take a look at Nigeria's economy. Some are saying the way things are, talking about whether we, as citizens, whether we're able to buy what we want. Is the president piloting Nigeria's economy rightly as it affects individual citizens, the ordinary people that he's so concerned about, how it affects us? Do you think he's...
Thank you very much. He's doing it rightly at 100%. He will not do it in one day. Remember that this collapse did not start with him. The last time I was on this media live chat, I sang a music as far back as 1984. Ilule Kosowolo, somebody sang it. Nigeria scatter scatter, some people jaga jaga oya. Somebody sang that music. Tinubu was not the president then. Now, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in, things have gone extreme. Nigeria was in ICU, intensive care unit.
But people were still able to buy things.
Wait. You see, the definition of buying things, you need to be careful. In United Kingdom, where I stayed very well, some people cannot afford passport, British passport to pay. Some things are luxury, but we now want to come to feeding. You see, that's the first food, clothes, shelter. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in, how much was bag of rice? I've said it. As he was in, the bag of rice was skyrocketing. Now bag of rice has gone to 50,000-60,000. I go to the market, I've told you, basket of tomato when President Bola Ahmed first came in, was about 120,000-130,000. Go to market in Lagos, mile 12. A basket is now about 60, 70,000. Tatashe, I don't know if you know Tatashe Rodo Shombo. What was the market price when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in? Now, import duties are also going down on vehicles. Vehicles will start coming down. The president announced that some import duties to be removed. What I will be begging Nigerians for, I have said it. Please, let's be patriotic. I said it on a live TV, which nobody can fault me. Most Marwa, most Uber, and all these but uses CNG. You can start seeing them now. And they are still charging petrol money. Is that all I'm making? Why can't we be patriotic and say, I bought this CNG gas for 6,000 naira. Let me try and reduce the cost of transportation costs for Nigeria. Go, I said it here last time. Nobody could fault me that what I was saying. Go to Mowo Ibafo, see people are queuing. They all have that CNG gas under Marwa. They have it at the boot of their vehicle. Take an Uber. Take a boat. It will ask you a question. How many people are entering? Do you know why? Because the CNG gas is in the boot. So the more people it carries, you can imagine a vehicle that is supposed to carry one in front, 3 people at the back, knowing that you put load in the boot and it has that gas there.
But Honorable, there's supposed to be an agency, consumer protection agency, where it's supposed to regulate prices and also quality of goods. What is that agency doing concerning this? You
see, the major thing is enforcement. And I'll be honest with you. You see, when things have been rotten, and you see, for you to enforce, you need patriotism. You see, the Consumer Protection Agency, Nigeria is a very big state. And a lot of things has decayed.
All right, now, I'd like you to hold that thought because we need to take a quick break